Hello, everybody. Welcome to an adventure. Uh, I am Anthony Wright Day Hernandez, aka Rogan27, and this is Archival Adventures. Um, Welcome in, and T Squared, thank you so much for the resubscription. 41 months. Somehow that's a number that's possible. And I don't know why the green screen is doing that. Hi, Puddleglum. Hi, Hannah. It's good to see you. Um, I'm going to just attempt one thing digitally. See if I can fix. I don't know. Hi, everybody. Also, Puddleglum. Hello. Thank you so much for the streak. Wow. For a second, I forgot how to mess with the settings. It's weird because it also depends on what clothes I am wearing. And today I have this black hat that made the green screen behave differently. But not in a great way. Anyway, it doesn't matter that much. You all know I do my best. That said, I can try, but yeah, it's just not gonna. I don't know. For some reason, green screen has been the thing that has been the hardest, and no matter what I do, it always has issues. Anyway, green screen and technical issues aside, that is not what Archival Adventures is about, despite how often it comes up. In fact, Archival Adventures is a show where we look at things from the special collections and university archives at Virginia Tech. And this week, we will be doing that once more. It's not about that, though. I mean, yeah, well, okay, I don't know. I'm just going to put it back to the settings it was at when we began, and when I move to the next screens, that'll hardly be noticeable because it will be cropped out. Oh, is it warm in here? Or is it me? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, at Virginia Tech, looking at historical documents. That's the whole point of the show. The internet is doing strange things today, so hopefully the stream works the entire time. But I'm looking at both machines that are running the two streams for the two channels, and yeah, the bitrate is not great. It says unstable. I don't understand. Why are we unstable? I have tried to have stability. But yeah, no, the internet is just wonky. And it's not, in fact, just me. It shows my commitment to transparency. It's also, it's not just me, it's not just Twitch. It is the whole internet. Things have been experiencing issues today. I have not investigated them, but I do know like some of the major social media platforms have had problems today. And the web-based HR tools that we use here at work have had problems today. And so, if the stream gets a little twitchy, uh, the whole internet may have been a mistake. Well, sadly, I don't think we actually have any documents from the early days of the internet at DARPA. Or at ARPA. So we can't really examine that directly because I don't believe we have any of that in our collections. However, what we do have in our collections is what we're going to look at today. In fact, let's just poke at that. So today we will be looking at the Sarah Pitt collection. It has materials dating from 1930 to 1936. And of course, whenever you have a collection named after a person, the most important thing is, who was that person? Why is this collection named after them? So Sarah Pitt was an extension agent in Prince William County for the Virginia Agricultural and Mechanical College and Polytechnic Institute and the U.S. Department of Agriculture Extension Division from 1930 to 1936. Virginia Agricultural and Mechanical College and Polytechnic Institute, that whole mouthful, used to be, in the past, the name of Virginia Tech, which has a long version of its name today as well, which is Virginia Polytechnic Institute and Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University is the name today. Anyway, VAMC was just Virginia Tech. So she worked for Virginia Tech as an extension agent and for the U.S. Department of Agriculture as in the extension division from 1930 to 1936. Extension, I think, is a concept we might need to just poke at and make sure that everybody understands. And I'd rather look up a definition than try to extemporize one. Anyway, the collection is composed of records during her term as an extension agent, including 5 small notebooks in which she recorded her thoughts, ideas, recipes, and comments concerning 4-H and extension activities. These notes are significant as they reveal farm-related activities during the Great Depression. It also contains 2 radio broadcast scripts from the National Farm and Home Hour in the 1930s and 1940s. I was like, wait, the collection said it was only 1930s things. It's because I didn't read the sentence properly. In the 1930s and 1940s, the National Farm and Home Hour broadcast nationwide from Chicago and was sponsored by the American Farm Bureau. Oh boy. So we're going to have a few things to look at. Also, what? Open link. We have another item that is relevant that I did not know about until just now, because as you may know, most of the time I've not seen anything in the collection until we actually look at it on stream. This will just be not too far outside my office door, so I'll probably go and grab it. But before we actually start looking at any of these materials, since we're at Virginia Tech and talking about things that are technically owned by Virginia Tech, just like to pay a little bit of attention to the history of the institution. Virginia Tech acknowledges that we live and work on the Tutelo and Monacan people's homeland, and we recognize their continued relationships with their lands and waterways. We further acknowledge that the Morrill Land Grant College Act of 1862 enabled the Commonwealth of Virginia to finance and found Virginia Tech through the forced removal of native nations from their lands in California and other areas in the West. Virginia Tech acknowledges that its Blacksburg campus sits partly on land that was previously the site of the Smithfield and Solitude plantations, owned by members of the Preston family. Between the 1770s and the 1860s, the Prestons and other local white families that owned parcels of what became Virginia Tech also owned hundreds of enslaved people. Enslaved Black people generated resources that financed Virginia Tech's predecessor institution, the Preston and Olin Institute, and they also worked on the construction of its building. Okay, so couple things for us to pay attention to as we're getting started. The first one was, what the heck is extension? Just in case anybody doesn't know, we're gonna look up we're gonna find one of those things that tells you what words mean. Definition. Sometimes my tongue does not like words, and I have to talk around them until I can say them. It's just how things work. Where to look for this? Let's just see what we get. I do know. There. All right. I want just general concept. So I'm going to skip over Virginia and look at this general article on Wikipedia so we can talk a little bit about, what is this concept? And yes, I went specifically to agricultural extension because as far as I'm aware, it always is agricultural in nature, and for sure, through Virginia Tech and through Department of Agriculture, it's agriculture related. Application of scientific research and new knowledge to agricultural practices through farmer education. The field of extension now encompasses a wider range of communication and learning activities organized for rural people by educators from different disciplines, including agriculture, agricultural marketing, health, and business studies. Extension practitioners can be found throughout the world, usually working for government agencies. They are represented by several professional organizations, networks, and extension journals. Okay. The use of the word extension originated in England in 1866. Modern extension began in Dublin, Ireland in 1847, with Lord Clarendon's itinerant instructors during the Great Famine. They're citing a book on food and agricultural organization published in 97. The History, Development, and Future of Agricultural Extension was the title of chapter 1. Interesting. It expanded in Germany in the 1850s through the itinerant agricultural teachers called Wanderlehrer, and later in the United States via the cooperative extension system authorized by the Smith-Lever Act of 1914. Yay, we're gonna have to look at that, aren't we? The term was later adopted in the USA, while in Britain it was replaced with advisory service in the 20th century. A number of other terms are used in different parts of the world to describe the same or similar concept. Al-Irshad, or guidance. I have very little idea of how to say that. Shamprosharan in Bengali, meaning extension. Verlichting, lighting the path in Dutch. Beratung, advisory work. Vulgarization. Vulgarization. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, Puddle Glem. You've been randomly selected as VIP for the stream. Enjoy your digital gemstone. Assistenza tecnica e divulgazione agricola. Agricultural technical assistance and popularization. Capacitación. training or capacity building. Song swem, to promote. And anyway, you get to see me trying to pronounce things in languages that I don't read or speak. Tarvi or Gostarash, to promote or to extend in Persian. I probably got those way wrong. Vistar, to extend in Hindi, and Hormaran and Balaran, to promote and extend in Somali, which is a language that I actually did work on learning for a little bit, but a long time ago. Yeah, you should be able to post links without a permit if you so choose, Puddleglum. Also, eventually, you'll be able to award pun points. It's just that they still don't work on Wednesdays yet. Anyway, in the US, an extension agent is a university employee who develops and delivers educational programs to assist people in economic and community development, leadership, family issues, agriculture, and environment. Another program area provided by extension agents is 4-H and youth activities. Many extension agents work for cooperative extension service programs at land-grant universities, which Virginia Tech is a land-grant university and has a cooperative extension service. Sometimes referred to as county agents or extension educators. Often confused with extension agents, extension specialists are subject matter experts, usually employed as scientists and university professors in various departments in the land-grant university system. That's not the same thing. Subjects range... Anyway. Okay, this is all good info. For anyone who doesn't know, what 4-H is, 4-H, and yes, its logo is a 4-leaf clover with H's on the leaves. A US-based network of youth organizations whose mission is engaging youth to reach their fullest potential while advancing the field of youth development. That mission is not very informative. Its name is a reference to the occurrence of the initial letter H 4 times in the organization's original motto, Head, Heart, Hands, and Health, which was later incorporated into the Fuller Pledge, officially adopted in 1927. In the United States, the organization is administered by the National Institute of Food and Agriculture and the United States Department of Agriculture. 4-H Canada is an independent nonprofit organization. There are 4-H organizations in over 50 countries, but that says it needs a better source. The goal is to develop citizenship, leadership, responsibility, and life skills through experiential learning programs and positive youth development approach. Though typically thought of as an agriculturally focused organization as a result of its history, today it focuses on citizenship, healthy living, science, engineering, and technology programs. Interestingly, I'm curious to see what Wikipedia says. Before I say anything out loud, I'm just going to see what it says. The foundations of 4-H began in 1902 with the work of several people in different parts of the United States. The focal point of 4-H has been the idea of practical and hands-on learning, which came from the desire to make public school education more connected to rural life. Okay, I'm just looking because the national 4-H system was modeled after the Virginia state system, which started here at Virginia Tech. So I was looking to see if there'd be any mention, and I don't see it. Anyway, not a big deal. So youth development programs, 4-H will be important because it was one of the things mentioned as being prevalent in this collection. Extension in the US falls under the Smith-Lever Act of 1914. The act itself actually established a system of cooperative extension services connected to land-grant universities, intended to inform citizens about current developments in agriculture, home economics, public policy / government, leadership, 4-H, economic development, coastal issues, the National Sea Grant College Program, of which Virginia Tech was one of the it is one of the members, and related subjects. Interesting. I wonder if the space grant, the National Space Grant Program, also falls under. I mean, I assume it was authorized by another act, but I wonder if it just attaches to this. I don't have a lot of stuff on the National Space Grant Program or the National Sea Grant Program, or we would have done episodes on them already. Because we are a land grant university, we have plenty of stuff on land grant. We're also a sea grant college and a space grant college, which I think are fascinating programs. We're not, as far as I know, a sun grant. So there's, in the US, land grant, sea grant, space grant, and sun grant. Sun grant were started in 2003, and I don't know much about them. Anyway, develop bio-based energy. I have gotten way into digression. Hi, Elixir pops into wave after one meeting, then goes off to the next one. I got caught in a path of looking up, to have an actual definition of what extension is in case anybody didn't know, and then what is 4-H, and what was the Smith-Lever Act, and as one does. But I think we've covered definitions. So, no, come on. I think we should try looking at materials from the collection on this stream, where we're supposed to look at materials from. What a unique concept. Anyway, if you see anything in the finding aid that jumps out at you and you're like, I want to see what's in that folder, let me know, and we will make that happen. Also, my assistant, my student assistant Jules, has prepared us with little flags to point out where the most interesting things in the collection are. Unfortunately, it's apparently a really interesting collection. So I will try to follow the map that is laid before me and look at them possibly in order of the numbers that are on them. But what a problem to have too many interesting things to look at. All right, let's get the document view on screen. As you can see, Jules has left us some notes. I don't know why I said it that way. It just came out that way. Left us notes on the little flags to tell what was interesting. So, this document, United States Department of Agriculture Extension Service, Washington, D.C. 25 years of 4-H experience as a basis for our vision of 4-H 25 years ahead, by C.B. Smith. Let's see. Background. Sarah Pitt was an extension agent in Prince William County from 1930 to 36, Extension Division of the U.S. Department of Agriculture Cooperative Extension System. eh, so, you know, some of the stuff that we just went and looked up could have been in here. But let's see. If we omit from consideration schools and churches, agricultural extension is probably the most efficient, most accomplishing, most significant, and least known rural institution in the United States. While we go out of our way to praise the adult educational work of other countries, foreign students coming to America find in the Extension Service one of the marvels of educational institutions with little comparable to it in any country in the world. That's an interesting assertion given what we just looked at, seeing that it started in Ireland and then to Britain, and that there are similar systems in many countries and words for the concept in lots of languages. Uh, Outside the agricultural colleges, but little is known, even in our own universities and denominational and teachers' colleges. What was the date on this letter? Oh, 1939. So talking about denominational and teachers' colleges makes sense. Uh, of this great adult and junior rural teaching movement, many urban people listen in on the farm and home radio programs, but put on by the Department of Agriculture, land grant colleges, and farm organizations cooperating and thus have some touch with agriculture. Many more have heard of 4 H club work through the radio and exhibits at county, state, and regional fairs, but relatively few urban people know of this great rural extension service as such or have any concept of its significance to the nation. Okay, goody goody. Uh, this situation has come about, I suppose, because the Extension Service is a non political institution and furnishes its news to the public undiluted with propaganda. Extension is a carrier of information like the postal system, and in the case of that system, one thinks of the news received and overlooks the carrier. Okay, I don't believe the author, and I'll tell you why. That paragraph, he basically just asserted that the extension service as a whole, in being a non political institution, which, fine, yes, it is intended to be non political, provides information that is completely unbiased. He phrased it undiluted with propaganda, but that's not possible. At least in the history of the United States and uh, basically human existence, there is no such thing as completely unbiased because someone has curated that information, and in doing so, they weeded out something. They chose at some point to include or not include, to change the phrasing of such and such. And in so doing, even if they're trying to be completely neutral, unconscious bias will enter what they're doing. The reason I seem so sort of incensed by this idea is I work in a profession uh, as an archivist, and I have a library. I have a degree, a Master of Library and Information Science, and libraries and librarians and archives and archivists have historically claimed to be neutral. They are not and never have been, and couldn't operate if they were. Uh, libraries, the content that is curated and provided through libraries is gathered with a thought to who will be using it. So, who is in the community that the library serves? And they select materials that they think that community will be interested in. Same thing with archives. Like, if archives were completely neutral, we would have a lot more stuff from people of color, from LGBTQ people, from women, and a lot of the stuff that we do have from women wouldn't say from Mrs. John Smith and nowhere have a note of what her actual given name was. So I take issue with him claiming that it's completely undiluted by propaganda. Anyway, so this is just giving some descriptive information about what the extension service is, which we covered by looking at the Wikipedia article, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this many multi-page letter. Although I do appreciate that it was flagged for us to look at. Let's see what number 2 is here, and I'm sorry if I drove everybody away by ranting on about the lack of neutrality in libraries and archives. History of home demonstration work in Virginia. So the note from Jules: history of home demonstration, or the labor assigned to women, designed to complement the farm demonstration of men. Home demonstration work is 25 years old today. When was that statement written? When was it 25? So this is going to be roughly 1939. Let us look back over that quarter of a century, note its development, and attempt to measure its accomplishments. In order to evaluate the life of an individual or institution, it is necessary to know something of its background and antecedents. We shall therefore begin our history not with 1914, but with 1910. Following the success of farm demonstration work with men and corn clubs with boys, Dr. Knapp, with his unerring judgment and penetrating vision, next turned his attention to the women and girls in the farm homes. In the summer of 1910, girls' tomato clubs were organized in South Carolina and Virginia. Though the first club was organized by Miss Marie Cromer, a rural school teacher in South Carolina, the first actual appointment of a woman to organize and carry through such a program was that making Miss Ella G. Agnew state agent for Girls' Tomato Clubs in Virginia in June 1910. Agnew Hall, on campus here at Virginia Tech, is named after Ella Agnew, who was an extension agent for Virginia Tech. That year, Miss Agnew worked in Halifax and Nottoway counties with a small number of girls who planted tomato plants, cared for them, and preserved the fruit. Thus was the foundation laid for home demonstration work in Virginia. From the first, Dr. Knapp regarded the tomato clubs as a means to an end, an entering wedge, so to speak, that would open the way to the home and to the mother in the home. I think we could use a historical terms note, because I think we're going to encounter a lot of description that equates certain work with women and certain other work with men. So, as we review unedited historical documents on archival adventures, we may encounter words, phrases, images, or other content that are derogatory, harmful, or wildly inaccurate now and or in their historical context. Please feel free to step away from the stream as desired for your own safety and well-being. All right. As early as 1911, the broadening process started. Tomato clubs became canning clubs, and girls worked to conserve other products of the garden and orchard, from the garden through the kitchen and into the pantry, with a more adequate and higher quality food supply. The canning club work enlisted the interest of other members of the family and gradually began to influence other phases of homemaking. Up to this point, work in the South had been largely financed by the General Education Board, supplemented by funds from the USDA and, and the state. By the end of 1913, canning club work was being conducted in 15 Virginia counties. On May 8, 1914, the Smith-Lever Act was passed by Congress, providing funds for cooperative extension work in agriculture and home economics. Uh, quoting from the experiment station record of May 1914, quote, "It is probably the first federal legislation in which the term home economics formally appears. It is therefore a recognition not only of the American farmer, but of the American homemaker and the worth and dignity which they represent." Unquote. So, from 1914 to 1917, home demonstration work made a steady growth in this state, not only in the number of agents employed and counties reached, but also in the broadening program. Poultry work had become a definite part of the program. Food production and preservation were stressed for the standpoints of economy and health. Other aspects of homemaking were receiving increased attention, and the development of rural leadership had become an avowed objective of home demonstration work. When war was declared in the spring of 1917, home demonstration work entered into the first emergency with which it was destined to cope. A call for food and more food was sounded throughout the country. The very fact that the government and the people turned to this small group of workers to lead the campaign for increased food production and conservation is in itself a testimonial to the quality of service they had already rendered. The staff was rapidly increased. In the entire country, about 610 women were employed with emergency funds. The number of home and demonstration workers in Virginia was 135, and they were conducting intensive food conservation campaigns in city and country. That seems interesting. I could read more of this, but I'm gonna continue on because I know there's some really interesting things. Not that these aren't really interesting, but home demonstration agent. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. Let's see, what else do we have? 5. Ooh, 4-H clubs? Number 5 is alive. Good info about 4-H extension work in Virginia, article written by President Burris. Check out Virginia Cooperative Extension website for info on modern work. Also good base info, interesting pics in boys and girls 4-H club work pamphlet. Daily program pamphlet is good as well. Apparently there's some interesting content. Let's see. Yeah, we'll take a look at this article. So this article is written by Julian A. Burris, President, Virginia Polytechnic Institute. And for those of you who are not steeped in Virginia Tech history, Uh, I will we'll look at the official biographical information on the Virginia Tech website for this one. Dr. Julian Ashby Burris, our new president. I'm just curious. Do they have a date on here? Yes. Okay, good. This is from November of 1919. Um, I won't read the whole thing, but by Dean H.L. Price. The alumni and friends of Virginia Polytechnic Institute need no introduction to our new president. He is personally known and appreciated by the majority of them, and to the remainder, as well as to all who are in touch with educational affairs in Virginia, his public record is a familiar one. Let's see. Chosen by the board of directors. He was the first graduate of Virginia Tech to become the school's president. Um, he was the first president of James Madison University, which is north of here about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Um, although at the time of his service, the university was the state normal and industrial school for women. And then he became the 8th president of Virginia Tech. And he was president of Virginia Tech from September 1st of 1919 until July 1st of 1945. And the administration building on campus, the main administration building on campus, is named after him. So he was the author of this article, 4-H Club Work in Virginia. Let's see. I want to just get clearer. When I do the digital zoom, it's a little fuzzy. From 75 to 23,194 in 21 years. Surely 4-H Club work in Virginia has reached the voting age and has elected itself to the highest sort of position in our agricultural extension service. That this position is fully merited has been proved over and over again by the truly wonderful results produced by this army of boys and girls. To recite all of the reasons for the outstanding success attained in this interesting and valuable form of education, of extension education, would require a long story, much longer than can be told here. While there is much in common, every one of the thousands of participants can probably tell of some different experience, all worthwhile. Club work represents an ingenious scheme for educational development through study and practice in agriculture and home economics and related branches. Through it, the flower of our teenage population are taught better farm and home practices and are imbued with the finer and more significant considerations of rural life. Social and recreational development with training in group action according to parliamentary procedure are secured at home through practical and wholesome employment. Social isolation and understandable individualism of rural youth, or of rural young people, are broken down through participation in group as well as individual enterprises and community activities, which fit them for responsibilities as citizens while making them better farmers and homemakers. Indeed, it also prepares the foundation for occupations other than those directly associated with the farm and home, if perchance they choose some profession or business. In this time of adversity, when frugality should be encouraged in every proper way, these clubs have a special opportunity which they undoubtedly will meet in their usual efficient manner. Our county agents and other extension workers are aiding in an important and timely way by setting before these young people an example of thrift and by teaching them to do carefully the things they like to do, and which bring some money return. Club members are owners. Every boy and girl who becomes a 4 H club member and fulfills club requirements becomes an owner of something. They also establish credit. Bankers say that the percentage of loss on money lent to members of the various clubs, such as the calf, pig, sheep, and poultry clubs, is very small. Being a member of a club of some sort stimulates pride in achievement and possession and creates a desire for ownership rather than for wages. Those of us who keep more or less continuously in touch with it are pretty well convinced that club work offers one of the most effective solutions of the perplexing problem of how to keep older boys and girls on the farm and away from the city. Still more important, it tends to keep them in the home and directs their attention to the higher and better things of life. Ooh, there's some value judgment going on in this article. It seeks this through creating a spirit of cooperation among the boys and girls so that they are led to regard the duties of the farm and home as a pleasure and an opportunity rather than as drudgery. Instead of a required task to be avoided, it becomes something that brings with its successful accomplishment both financial reward and the satisfaction of a thing well done. Our county agents are thus starting every year hundreds of farm boys and girls on paths that are leading them to positions of trust, honor, and prosperity in the community. Club work dignifies labor. It makes it an interesting game and sets high standards of achievement. It trains for community leadership and stimulates social life of the right kind, resulting in better civic conditions. To make the best better is the slogan for both work and play for both the individual and the group. This gives the right attitude toward life in the impressionable age. With this motto constantly before them, club members try each year to improve upon the year before. As president of our state agricultural college, I have had opportunity to observe 4-H club activities in Virginia. Each summer, the state short course brings about 1,000 fine boys and girls, leaders, and county agents to our campus, and we look upon this as one of the most interesting and important events of the year. I also have occasion to read the annual reports of the state club agents and the county farm and home demonstration agents. I have been profoundly impressed with the worth of 4-H club work in Virginia, and I believe its contribution to the state in the development of leadership among club members is valuable beyond all estimation. Good leadership is essential in maintaining progressive and satisfying country life, and therein lies our greatest need. Our state extension and county agents have been unusually successful in developing the right kind of leadership among our rural boys and girls. Um, it it continues on to the next page, and I'm not going to right now, but unless somebody wants me specifically to continue. Um, anyway, there's it's end of the 1930s. You know, there's some morality judgment going on as to like um, rural farm life better than city life, sort of opinions apparent in that, but also considering the audience it was intended for, which was people working in agricultural and 4-H club work. Um, I think that's to be expected. There's a booklet in here, a booklet, pamphlet, I don't know what to call it. There's a multi-page small document here. Boys and Girls 4-H Club Work. And it has photographs. Um, so let's see. 4-H Club work is part of the nation's agricultural extension system and is promoted by the state agricultural colleges, United States Department of Agriculture, county governments, and rural people cooperating. Every member who takes part demonstrates some better farm, home, or community practice. Club work promotes agriculture and home economics and develops boys and girls. There were 922,000 enrolled members in 1933, and they put on more demonstrations in corn and potato growing, gardening, food preparation, clothing, beef, swine, and poultry raising than did the adults. Many of the 12,500,000 rural boys and girls have no opportunity to take part in this teaching and self-development work. The work should be so expanded that all who want to may take part in it and receive helpful guidance. Club work offers one more chance for reaching the boys and girls who, for one reason or another, have dropped out of school and giving them instruction and helpful guidance. It is a very helpful supplement also to schoolwork in retaining the interest of children in school. Club work teaches by doing. Through its organized club and teamwork, it teaches boys and girls how to cooperate and work together. These are among the biggest needs of rural life. County agents and home demonstration agents should be encouraged to do even more boys and girls club work. And whenever, because of their other work, they are unequal to the task, they should be given an assistant agent or club agent to give full time to club work. Many fathers and mothers are concerned because their boy or girl at 14, 15, or 16 has dropped out of school. Club work should make a special effort to interest and influence this group out of school, as well as the group in school. And all this because 4-H Club boys and girls are doers. They are taught high ideals and standards. They meet together, work together, play together, cooperate, achieve. They play the game fairly. They demonstrate, work, earn money, and acquire property. They learn and teach the better way on the farm, in the home, and in the community. They build up their bodies and their health through right living. Ugh. They train their hands to be useful, their minds to think clearly, and their hearts to be kind. Oh, sorry. Just the phrase "right living" in a publication from the early part of the 1930s has so many like potentially frightening implications. I mean, as phraseology, it's fine. It's just, given the time period, there could be some not great associations that would come up if we were to dig into what this right living was. And of course, you will note every single person in every photo is a white person, because this was the 1930s, and education in Virginia was segregated. Yeah. Although there is a lot of decent representation of women and girls in the booklet. Anyway, we've looked at a number of things so far that are sort of general to like extension 4-H. I want to see what we have that is specific to Sarah. we'll have to find out. There are so many folders with flags in them. Noting, like, ooh, interesting thing here. Ooh, interesting thing there. Which is just so fun. 1 or 20? Could go first or last. Or wherever, honestly. Oh, what do we want to look at next? I want to look at the notable. Yeah, I think that's what we look at next. All right, we'll see if I can decipher any of the handwriting, because we have some notebooks. All right, let's see what we can discover. Honor. Okay, let's see. Ooh. We're already getting into like smaller inserts. Tucked into the beginning of this first notebook is a recipe for griddle cakes. No instructions, just a list of ingredients. 2 cups flour, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 2 tablespoons melted butter, salt, 2 cups sweet milk, a half a teaspoon vanilla, and 1 tablespoon sugar. January 6th, 1931. BPI. I need to angle this because we're getting light. That's like, it's lit well, it's just it was at the perfect angle to make it completely unreadable. Okay. April 6, 1931. Let's see. 1 work, 2 credit, 3 charity. Means of what is this word? AI. Oh, means of assistance. Haha. Work, credit, and charity. Means of assistance. Follow program as nearly as possible. Read while you run. Only way for farm and home agents. I love that one. Just the read while you run in quotation marks. Let's see. 4-H club meetings. Use 4-H club in machinery put up to get across objectives of club work. C.B. Smith's bulletin. Dr. Smith says that 4-H club work helps rural boys and girls to 1. Make of themselves useful citizens. 2, 3, 4, 5. Club project only means to end that used the development of boy and girl. Dr. Galpin said. Ooh. See what this says. Prerequisites of good club meeting. 1. A suitable meeting place. 2. Strict adherence to parliamentary practice. 3. Each taking part. 4. Done by members. 5. Free discussion. 6. Copy of copy. No, it's not copy. Camp of outstand men and women. I'm not sure what number 6 says. 7 is good publicity. 8 is recognition of parents and friends. 9 is well-planned something program. 10 is program adapted to age of group. Well-planned. I don't know. Some of those I just couldn't make out. Never change mind, only rearrangement of prejudice. A quote from Hutchinson, apparently. Plans for 4-H camp. And short course, Montgomery. Solution of club members for camps. Solution? Yeah, that's what it says. Well. It said that there was, in this notebook, some prices of, like, some staple items. And since we're in the 1930s, that would be during the Great Depression, and if we can find some prices of things, that might be interesting. See if I can locate it in the notebook. I'm checking at the back. don't know yet. Clothing. Weekly market? That could possibly... Ooh, low cost dietaries. Yeah. Also, we just got rated by 16-bit Eric. Hello, welcome in, Whimsies. And hello, Eric. How was the end of your stream? And also, I wish you good fortune as you head off to the studio, and I look forward to seeing pictures. Hello, Shadows of Life. Hi, Blue Rooster. Hi, Castaboris. And thank you for giving a shout out to 16-bit Eric. Indeed, if you are not following 16-bit Eric, what are you doing with your life? Eric is a wonderful streamer, has an absolutely marvelous community, and if you're not already following them, you should drop a follow. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, I am Rogan27, aka Anthony Wright de Hernandez. I'm the Community Collections Archivist at Virginia Tech. And, oh, thank you for the follow. It's probably okay. So I'm the Community Collections Archivist at Virginia Tech, and this is a show that I do almost every Wednesday, where we look at materials from our special collections in university archives. This week, I have the Sarah Pitt collection. Sarah Pitt was an agricultural extension agent for the Virginia Cooperative Extension in 1930 through 1936. So she was an extension agent during the Great Depression. And if you're unfamiliar, extension, at least at that time, was pretty much focused on agriculture or things like that. It was education for rural peoples. And so she was one of the first home demonstration agents. Well, not the first, because Ella Agnew was the first. She was here at Tech, and that was in 1911, I think. I don't remember. We just saw the date earlier, but so we're exploring and seeing what there is, and it's probably okay. That's awesome. I hope that you're enjoying studying for the MLIS. It has been 10 years since I graduated with mine. Wow. I just realized I graduated from grad school 10 years ago. So my student assistant had noted that this notebook should have some prices of some staple items. And so I'm trying to see if I can find that. So far, I don't see that there are prices. I just see the list of things. Ooh, here we go. Weekly market order. Let's see. Cereals, 20 to 24 pounds. Milk, 18 to 21 quarts. Lean meat. I think that's fresh eggs. No, lean meat, fish, eggs. It's like, why would there be a dot? It's because it's fish, not fresh. Cheese, 3 to 5 pounds. Veg and fruits, 3 to 5 pounds. Okay, so this is amounts, but I saw prices. Oh, okay, so let's keep going here. Veg and fruits, 14 pounds of potatoes, 6 pounds of tomatoes, 1 to 2 pounds of dried beans, peas, or beans and peas, 3 pounds of cabbage, and I'm not certain what word that is. Oh, greens. 3 pounds of greens. Parentheses, cabbage. And 4 to 5 pounds of other veg. 4 to 8 pounds of fresh fruits. 1 to 2 pounds of dried fruits. Fats, salt, pork, lard, butter, substitutes, oil, 3 to 4 pounds, sweets or sugar, 2 pounds, molasses, 1.5 quarts. Cod liver oil, 4 ounces. Is skim milk I think it says, is skim milk in need? And I'm not sure quite. I'm guessing she's wondering if she needs to get skim milk. Evaporated 0.08 half per pint. Pound dried milk is 5 quarts of milk. Cod liver oil used when dried milk used or when skim milk used. Ah. Oh, I think it's... Got it. So the cod liver oil, 4 ounces. She wrote, is skim milk is used, which was why it was confusing, because it's supposed to be if skim milk is used. Finished undergrad 25 years ago, so it's been a weird adjustment. I totally get that. It's probably okay. But librarianship ends up being a second or third career for a lot of people. So I know plenty of people that go for the masters, the MLS or the MLIS, after having worked in some other profession for quite a while. So it's not unusual, but I hope you're enjoying it. So cost per week, all of that stuff that we just read, $7.36. Use molasses for iron and calcium, I think. I'm not certain. It's CA period. Anyway, that was it. Looking to see if there's any like individual prices, because I think that would be interesting. It's really kind of interesting the number of times I've come across just like store ledgers or shopping lists or stuff that we end up looking at because the prices are so low. I don't see... I'm not gonna spend forever looking for it either. Because there are other notebooks. Rock of Ages, educational series, pocket notebook. Let's see what we've got in this notebook. State Short Course, 1933. 428 4-H girls leaders, and all-stars. Opportunity for service open to club girls. I cannot do this thing, but you, the people of the US, can do it. A quote from Roosevelt. It took me a minute to realize that it was a quote. Like I was so fixated on trying to parse the words that I didn't realize that it was just a quote from Roosevelt. Uh, Opportunity, philosophy, improve opportunity for service, limitless opportunities for service at any doorstep each day. Today's girl takes her place in the family group. It's a girl. Wow. Okay, so this is going to be roughly the same time period. I haven't seen a date yet, but the last one was like 1933. So she's just got lots of little quotes in here. Have I done my work to the best of my ability? What kind of place is empty today because you're in Blue? I'm uncertain. Like it's supposed to rhyme. I know that much, but I have no idea what is being abbreviated there. Who's watching for mail? Who's bringing in tomatoes? Okay, I'm just gonna jump ahead. See what we've got, because I don't think I have any specific or particular notes about anything specific in that notebook to look for. All right, this one said, oh, this was the one. Whatever. Oh. This was the one that was supposed to list prices. So I was digging through the other notebook looking for prices, and there were none. We found some anyway. Also, yeah, I did meet the follower goal, which was pretty awesome. All right, District Agent's Notebook, April 18th, 1934. Trends in home demonstration work. Miss Birdseye. 1. Vitamins. 1. Vitamin B separated. 2. Ascorbic vitamin C acid and closely related to sugars. Send the present state of our knowledge of vitamins, Yale Journal of Biology, Medicine, or Biology and Medicine, Yale University. 3. I'm gonna zoom in. Hi, Bats Insider. I think it's Blissey. A sassy Blissey. I'm assuming she was spending a lot of time trying to get her Blissey to win a Pokemon competition. Of course, everybody was playing Pokemon in 1933. I had to get really far into your comment before I realized. Uh, um, Carotene substance found in green and yellow vegetables, which animals use to make vitamin A. my my bot, my bot said, "Pleased to meet you." Pokemon was all the rage in 1933. Oh, that would be an interesting. Sorry, I just had an entire cartoon series of 1933, like, Pokemon spring into my head. So, uh, diets at 4 levels. All right, we've got carotene deteriorates if stored and dried. Um, or vitamin. Is that vitamin G? Green leaves found to be rich source of vitamin. Is there such a thing? That's not one I know. Do I? Am I just lacking in knowledge? This is probably the case that I am lacking in knowledge. Vitamin G is an outdated oh gosh. I don't want to read the. No. I keep forgetting I need to put minus AI so that I don't accidentally read some AI hallucination. One member of the vitamin B family. It's an outdated term for riboflavin. If I'm too tired to run D&D on Friday, I'm just going to ask my players to come up with 50 1933 Pokemon. That would be amazing. If you do that, Bast Insider, you need to share it. Green leaves found to be rich source of vitamin G. Pound for pound, green leaves are given higher source on vitamin G content than meat. How build of Husan affects physical condition and right of Evelyn greatest importance in determining weight of a weight. What kind of green leaves? Entirely hereditary. Okay, so how build of person affects physical condition and weight. Weight of EB something L something TON. Weight of something of greatest importance in determining weight of person. Entirely hereditary. ACH, arm, chest, hips. Yeah, I get the entirely hereditary. Like, I could read that part. Hi, Katrina. What could... That sounds too sad. Let's just say they all evolved out of their 1933 versions. I'm thinking like it springs to mind the Legend of Korra for me. I feel like just add Pokemon to the Legend of Korra and you've got 1933 Pokemon. Um, what is this word? E-B something. L-T-I or T-O-N. What would this be? Weight of something of greatest importance in determining weight of person. But I can't figure out what that word is. Huh. Anyway, uh, they have Mons in Korra though. They do kind of. Oh wait, yeah, they do. Sort of. Those could just be the Korra Pokemon. It does seem sort of like possibly weight of. Oh my goodness, that could be it. That is it. Excellent, Blue Rooster. Thank you very much. Weight of skeleton, of greatest importance in determining weight of person. Entirely hereditary. This is what it's like working with historic documents that are written in uh, individual handwriting and in cursive styles from various parts of the world and various times in history. This is not actually bad at all because the cursive here is primarily straight up and down. If you were looking at something from the 1860s, from like the Civil War era, the letters are going to be at a severe angle. But yeah, like that to me looks like a capital cursive E. And it's supposed to be a lowercase s. But it's just a squiggle. And she actually is not bad because you can differentiate between the E and the R and the I. I have seen some handwriting that is basically like that would have the stem of the H and then it would just be a flat line until you got to the D, and then it would be flat to the T, and then flat to the Y, and you'd get the dot on the I and the cross on the T, and that would be it. And you'd have to figure out hereditary with a couple of stems sticking up, one sticking down, a dot, a crossed T, and a bunch of just flat. Not even bumps, just flat. So this is not terrible. um Taken into account, skeleton build of yep, no idea. Absorbs more oxygen and metabolism goes on at more rapid rate, remains slender. Okay, taken into account, skeleton Iron Trap, this is not actually bad. This, to me, I see it and it's like tail shied, but that doesn't make sense. Possibly, but that's definitely T, because we've got the T here, so that's a T. AE. Sorry, bouncy, bouncy. Child. Oh, yeah, taken into account skeleton build of child. Tall child absorbs more oxygen and metabolism goes on at more rapid rate, remains slender. It's tall child. These are this is just like 1930s nutrition stuff, which makes sense that she's taking notes on 1930s nutrition. Like taking notes on nutrition to use for as she's going out doing this home demonstration work. And the reason that makes sense is because of an initiative that existed at the time that um, uh, hang on one second. Actually, I know where I can grab this. I have a bookmark for it. I just have to find it. Oh, come on. One of my browsers will get me this. I don't know if I typed it correctly. I have another spot. Yes. No. What? No. Hang on. I have it in like 17 different places. It's just that the first one that it arrived was a text message. So I'm just having to. That's. I was almost correct. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen share. I just amazed at the things that are archived every stream, random letters and little pocket notebooks. I know. Uh, they're they're awesome. I mean, I have literal scraps of paper with grocery lists on them from a catering service that was run by Gary and Giovanni. Um, just because I can and because it's relevant. Some of you might recognize some of this. Some of you were kind enough to tune in for Sterling's propaganda streams. And so Sterling, who used to prepare, like, was my student assistant and prepared episodes for me in the past, put together a wonderful exhibit. And in it, this site is one that he put together as part of a class for his grad school history program. But in the exhibit, reading The Power Broker throughout the year makes you really appreciate what you can do with archives. Yeah. I want. Oh wait, no, it's I went to the wrong World War. I need World War II. The Make America Strong posters. I don't know if this will work if I zoom in. It should, but okay. So, Make America Strong posters. The Let's Learn Everything podcast just did an episode about UK World War II carrot propaganda. Excellent. So, there's a reason that there was this propaganda. So, she's taking notes as an extension agent who's going to be going out and talking to women and girls about how to can foods, how to prepare meals, how to like what to grow in their garden. That's what she's prepping to do, and she's taking all these notes about nutrition. Carrot propaganda is the reason we all think carrots make your eyesight better. Yes, indeed. Um, Also, did you know that carrots were not originally orange? The orange colored carrots were specifically bred via crossbreeding for the House of Orange in the Netherlands. Um, Natural carrots were purple and yellow, and orange was not a naturally occurring color. Anyway, before World War II, I'm just going to read the text that Sterling put together for this. Um, Before World War II, the science of nutrition was not well understood. Scientists knew that protein, energy, and minerals made for a healthy diet, but they did not know the specifics. With the approach of World War II, the government was very concerned about malnourishment among its citizenry following the Great Depression. The Make America Strong poster campaign was created by the United States Department of Agriculture Extension Service, which is one of the two organizations that Sarah Pitt worked for, and included 13 posters promoting the importance of dietary needs, healthy eating habits, and ways to fight food insecurity. So this poster campaign, it's 13 posters. We have all of them. There were only 3 of them that got included in the exhibit, so there's only 3 of them that are digitized on here. This one is the first poster in the series. You're still wondering about the ovens? So, a young man, shirtless, carrying a heavy length of pipe. You can help make America strong. Missed opportunity. Make America so strong gives massive results. So this is the introductory poster to the collection featuring a shirtless, healthy young man carrying a pipe. It is an idealized depiction of masculine strength and sets the tone for the campaign. So these are from 1941, so almost a decade after when she was taking notes. But nutrition was something that the Extension Service of the Department of Agriculture was very keyed into. Like, Great Depression, people were becoming malnourished, and there was a big push on nutrition as World War II was approaching. This one is from the middle. These build strength. Meals that are ample. Meals well prepared. Meals rich in protective foods. Inappropriate jokes are completely fine. Oh, young men with heavy pipes and your person. Oh dear. I've been in your stream often enough. Um, um, so this poster from the middle of the series encourages meals that are ample, well prepared, and rich in protective foods. Um, Protective foods uh, was sort of a category that they had at the time, and it included milk, leafy vegetables, eggs, fish, and organ meats. You don't have to apologize. I I just won't necessarily read inappropriate comments on air. And so this is the last one in the series. Let's get to work to make Americans strong. Um, so this concludes it and rallies the viewers to get to work making a positive change. It was just like, this is from the USDA Extension Service. This is specifically from 1941, which is, like half a decade or so after she was writing this. Her notes here were from 1934. So what, 6 years later, 7 years later, that this campaign came out. But Sarah Pitt, whose materials we're looking at, worked as part of Virginia Tech's Extension Service and as part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Extension Service. So the fact that she was taking notes on nutrition and what was known about nutrition to be able to talk to women and girls when she was going out to do the community education as part of her role as an extension agent, like it's part of the building blocks that ultimately led to that advertising campaign trying to get people to pay attention to nutrition. And I know we've looked before, and I'm not going to look again right now. This is well before the food pyramid. The food pyramid was the whole thing on its own. But I don't remember the date. I want to say it was the 90s, actually, but I think it was before then. It's my brain wanting to put dates in there. Food pyramid. I am looking. I need to create some sort of macro that just adds -AI to every sentence I type. I don't want the AI overview. They hallucinate too much. Okay. I don't want guidelines. I want to know the pyramid specifically. Yes. Okay. The food pyramid itself was introduced in 92. There were other guidelines of proportions of dietary food and whatnot, but the food pyramid was not introduced until 1992. Federal Housing Administration. Federal Housing Act. Modernization and Repair, a recovery project, insured loans, repair building, National Mortgage Association, deposit insurance. Yeah, so as part of the extension mission, she's taking notes on things that are likely to come up that people will have questions about. And so she'll need to be able to answer questions about these things. Even though these programs are not specifically extension programs, the extension service and the like cooperative extension as a whole is about community education. And so as she's traveling around, and she was an extension agent specifically in Prince William County, which is um, today is part of the DC metropolitan area. In the 30s, it was still very rural. Um, but so you've got Washington, D.C., you've got um, Alexandria, Arlington, like Virginia, that are just right there. Fairfax County sits right below Washington, D.C., and Prince William County is the next county down from Fairfax County. If you've ever heard of Manassas Battlefield, the city of Manassas and the city of Manassas Park are inside Prince William County. Um, Technically, they are separate entities because they are some of the few actually fully incorporated cities in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but that has to do with Virginia being a Commonwealth. Anyway, that's just to give you a little geography of like where Prince William County is. It's highly urban today, but it was very much rural in the 30s. So let's see, they could provide loans of 100 to 2,000 for a period of 5 years, which in the 30s, that would have been a lot of money. Uh, Loans by local financing institutions. One borrower may borrow on more than one piece of property, $2,000 limit on any price. Maximum discount $5 per year when paid back in monthly installments, paid monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. Book by relending may make as much as 9.3% interest. So I don't know if they functioned as like, yeah, I don't know. No collateral on loans. Character loans. Oh dear. Character loans. I can imagine who got those and who didn't. Oh yeah, we were talking about nutrition, and I wanted to make sure that we put in the don't take medical advice from this stream note. That's the thing that I meant to say a little bit ago and didn't manage to get out of my mouth. This stream is not for medical advice. This stream is also not for financial advice. Uh, Requirements: good credit risk, property owner, um, lessee who has in contract the keeping up of property provided the lease extends beyond period of borrowing. Annual income must be 5 times the amount to be paid in. Borrower, 5 times the amount to be paid in. That sentence means their annual income has to be 5 times the total amount of the loan when it is fully paid off. So calculating in all of the interest, their annual income has to be 5 times the amount of the principal plus all of the interest that will accrue over the course of the loan. Yes, redlining was in full effect in 1938. This is 1934-ish. So I was about to be excited thinking my favorite poem was published in 1933, so I could make a Pokemon based on it published in 1923. Decade off is a little late, yeah. Not a doctor, lawyer, accountant, therapist, etc. Exactly, Castaboris. I still don't actually know how you prefer your handle to be said. I read it, and I read it differently every time. It's a microloan, or a loan for very rich people. Yes. Borrower certifies that money is used in improvements to property. Values of rural housing. Maude E. Wait. I think Maude E. Wallace. There is a lawyer in chat sometimes. He's not our lawyer, but he is a lawyer. In fact, there are multiple lawyers in chat sometimes. Neither of whom is your lawyer, but they are lawyers. It's one, building of character, lack of training in what to buy and how to buy, part of cause of the Depression. I don't know what this drawing is. It says yellow band. No idea. Does rules lawyer count? The reason I got excited when I pulled this up and saw the name Maude E. Wallace is because the other collection that was linked to the finding aid that is a letter to this person is from Maude E. Wallace. I do not have that letter at my desk right this second, but like I said, the shelf it should be on is basically right outside my office door. So I'm going to do something extremely rare for this stream. And even though it is 4:30 and technically time to end the stream, I'm going to pop to the Be Right Back screen. I'm going to go grab that letter. We'll look at it, and then we'll look at winding down. So give me a second. Okay. I have successfully grabbed the folder. And so we will go a little bit over time because we're going to look at this, and then I will read one of the radio scripts because I know that there were people that were hoping for that. Dance party while waiting? Amazing! You wrote a thesis about farmers markets? Nothing you say is intended as farmers market advice. All carrot comments represent my personal carrot opinions. Yeah. Okay, so this we're jumping back to 1929, apparently, with this letter from Maude Wallace to Sarah Pitt. It's Sarah Pitt, but it apparently says Pitts. The finding aid for it. Pardon me, I'm hiccuping. Interesting. I'm unclear now if it's... Oh, yeah. No, it's the same person. This biographical note has her as Pitts, and the other one is just Pitt, and I don't know. I don't know which is right. Uh, we'll have to investigate that. Thank you for the self-care, Shadows. Um, Sarah Pitt, or Pitts, born 20 May 1902, Clinton, South Carolina, daughter of, yeah, okay. Graduate of Landers College and George Peabody College, started working for the Virginia Cooperative Extension Service in 1929 and was a home demonstration agent in Prince William County from 1930 to 1936. Following her marriage in 1935 to J. Benjamin Johnson Jr., she had to resign her position with Extension, as was the custom of the time. She got married and couldn't keep working. Maude Wallace. I don't know Bast Insider. I'm tempted. See, now I'm gonna look at some things. Okay, I see who did this finding aid and who did this, who processed this. Okay. I just based on who is listed as having done the work and the amount of detail in this versus the other, I suspect that Pitts is actually the last name. Because we tend to go and actually look for biographical notes like this. We go out to Ancestry because we get through the library version of Ancestry, we get access to a lot of documents, and so we can go and look. And my guess is that that's how, like, the dates of birth and parents' names and stuff like that. Mark probably went out and looked at the documents, and so the documents probably had the S on them. That doesn't mean that that is correct. It just means that there were documents that had the S. Anyway, Maude Wallace, raised on a farm near Pontiac, Illinois, attended Illinois Women's College, Lewis Institute, and Columbia University. She came to Virginia in 1918 to participate in the Extension Service Food Conservation Program. After 10 years as an assistant home demonstration agent in North Carolina, she returned to Virginia in 1929 as a state home demonstration agent for the Agricultural Extension Service at Virginia Tech. In 1938, she became assistant director of extension for home demonstration, a position she held until her retirement in 1958. In 1937, Ms. Wallace served as the head of the home economics department at the university, and for 2 years was both department head and state agent. She died in 1972. Wallace Hall is named after her. Okay. And so she, like, the letter we're going to look at, she wrote it to Sarah. Historical terms for which part? I mean, all of it is historical terms. Incidentally, because I'm forgetful, I had meant to drop the link to this in the chat. Let me just get the main page of it. Maybe. Hello? Come on. Take me to the main page. Let me grab the link. So this is going back a few minutes to when we were talking about the Make America Strong things. If anybody wants to explore the entire site that Sterling put together, there's the link. She married and had to leave her job. Started saying, "This is the Pitts." So often people thought Pitts was her name. Oh, I love that. Not that she had to leave her job, but just I like the idea that she became Pitts because she was so upset about having to leave her job. Um, even though her husband's last name was Johnson or Johnston. Uh, all right. Cooperative extension work in agriculture and home economics, State of Virginia. Virginia Agricultural and Mechanical College and Polytechnic Institute and United States Department of Agriculture cooperating. Extension service. Blacksburg, Virginia, August 14th, 1929. Miss Sarah Pitts, box number 33, George Peabody College, Nashville, Tennessee. Dear Miss Pitts, your letter of August 10th has come to me, and I shall be glad to give you a little more information. In regard to your first question, I do not think that an assistant agent can get much experience out of her work in a county without a car. Therefore, we are requiring our assistants to have cars of their own when they come in for work. However, you can pay down a certain amount on a Chevrolet or Ford and carry the rest of the payments in monthly sums. Even though you have a school debt, it is not uncommon for our girls uh, to carry a school debt by monthly payments and also the payments on cars. You see, you will be getting in $140 each month, $125 for salary and $15 on expense, and your living expenses in most of our counties can be kept down very low. Now then, your next question as to where you would be sent. For your training work as an assistant, you would probably be sent to either Rockingham County or Harrisonburg as county seat, or to Powhatan County, which is near Richmond. As to where you would be sent after you have served your time as assistant, that would depend on what counties were open and what changes were taking place in the state in the next 3 or 6 months. So I could not tell you definitively to which section you would be sent for your permanent location. Now, as to your next point, as to the need of a vacation, I think you are right. If you have been in school a year and feel tired and feel that you need a vacation before you go into any work, it would be quite all right with me for you to take your vacation and come in either the middle of September or a little later, just as you wish. I hope I have given you the information you wish, and I shall hope that you make your decision to come and work with us, for I think you will enjoy the work, and I feel the opportunities in our line of work are good. Looking forward to an early reply from you so that I may go ahead with definite arrangements in placing you. I am, very sincerely, Miss Maude E. Wallace, State Agent. Interesting. So this is basically like the job offer letter, or kind of after that. Like this is the negotiation letter of give me the details so that I can make the decision. But it's interesting to me knowing uh, that Sarah had to retire after getting married. That it's very particular in noting that it is Miss Maude Wallace, because if she were married, she wouldn't be allowed to work there apparently. Um, that's kind of cool that this ties to the other collection in that way. The A in agent. Oh, that's just the typewriter. The Yeah, the capital A on that. So, because this was written on a typewriter, and I don't know, but typewriters would get peculiarities over time to where if you were transitioning from certain letters to certain other letters, the keys would hit in such a way that like you could get a letter that was a little bit off like that. Um, Earlier in the letter, there are capital A's that are not out of sync. So I'm guessing it has something to do with it coming after E and then space and then hitting the shift key. Something about that caused the A to hit the paper above uh like the line of where everything else was. Which those kinds of things are elements of what would be called like a typewriter fingerprint. They they become really peculiar to the individual typewriter and allow you to potentially identify specifically which typewriter did the typing. One reason why we have the keyboard layout. Yes. Yes. The QWERTY layout developed because of typewriters and because they of wanting to avoid collisions between the keys as people were typing. So it has to do with the frequency of when letters are needed in the English language, which is why QWERTY is really good for English. There are other possible keyboard layouts. There's actually a really neat. There are also other ways of the mechanics of a typewriter. There's a really good French film called Populaire that's about speed typing competitions in the era of typewriters, and there's this new technology that all the letters are on a ball and the ball spins instead of being the keys, and it gives a speed advantage, and it's a whole thing. Sadly, Populaire I have not been able to find in the United States in years. It was on Netflix a long time ago. I've not been able to find it. I have seen it to where I could potentially have ordered a copy, but it was like I would have had to have a DVD player that played like Region 2 or whatever. So yeah. Official analysis of Robert Caro's 50 typewriters? That would be interesting. Peculiarities is a very kind word for finicky typewriters. A great podcast last year about how traditional Chinese character writing was almost taken out by computer keyboard use. Interesting. The IBM Selectric, that is certainly one of them. Oh gosh. See, now I'm talking about a movie that is a really good movie. But now I'm trying to remember details. Ooh, yes. Okay, good. Yeah, we're gonna do something also quite unusual for this stream in particular, and I'm dropping an IMDb link. Oh, no worries. It's probably okay. It's just the bot doesn't like links terribly, but I can let you post it. Okay, you should be able to post the link now if you want. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna do. Yeah. Wait, what? It timed you out. Why did it do that? Permit failed. Why did... Why? What? No. No. Why did you do that? Hannah, can you see if you can fix that? Because it it timed out. It's probably okay, and like deleted all of his messages from the whole thing. I don't know why it did that. I'm sorry, because I typed permit. It's supposed to work, but then apparently it failed, and I don't know why it failed. I apologize. um, so yes, Populaire came out in 2012. It's a French romantic comedy drama film, but we were talking about typewriter technology, and I'm looking for that specific bit in here. Da, 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 da. Typewriter. I don't. I don't see the brand names right now, but yeah. So there's the IBM Selectric, and then there was another like. It's an interesting movie if you can find a way to watch it. I just wish it was easier to get a hold of in the US. But also just the history of typewriters was really interesting, and I didn't know it was that interesting. Hannah, I'm not certain why it did that. Oh, is it on Plex now? Because it had not been available at all for quite a while. Um, I don't know if it had something to do with the shared chat, but it shouldn't because we've done permits before using the shared chat. Yeah, no, it's because you weren't actually permitted, and but I don't know why the permit command failed. Um, so I'll have to investigate. The username was misspelled? Was it? Oh, it was. Yeah, no, it's me. I did it. It's because I typed out the word okay instead of just the letters O and K. So it was my fault entirely. Okay. I said I would do this, so I'm going to do this before I end. This this is a radio program from the National Farm and Home Hour, 1939. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, a radio program commemorating the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Smith-Lever Act, creating cooperative extension work on a national scale. Presented May 8, 1939, by members of the Department of Agriculture on the National Farm and Home Program over a coast-to-coast network of 104 stations of the National Broadcasting Company. From Chicago, the National Farm and Home Hour. Music. I don't happen to have Stars and Stripes Forever available to play for you. Uh, I'm the problem. It's me. The National Farm and Home Hour comes to you today from Washington, presenting a special broadcast by the Extension Service of the United States Department of Agriculture. Today marks the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Smith-Lever Act, which gave us cooperative extension work in agriculture and home economics on a nationwide scale. Silver anniversaries are noteworthy events. They often provide the occasion for a pause to look backward, at achievements and perhaps at errors, to sum up the present situation, and to look forward to the future. So, it is a story of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, which we are going to hear from representatives of the Extension Service, who will be assisted by other members of the Department of Agriculture. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, in the work of serving farmers and homemakers and in helping to mold a better agriculture and a happy a better agriculture and a happier rural life for America. That is the story of the Extension Service. Music up to full and out. Yeah, just posting links. The idea. Pardon me. Jeez. I've been talking for a while and I forgot that I was supposed to do radio voice at some point. The idea of aiding that portion of the American people who gain their living from the land and who provide food and fiber for the nation, the idea of aiding those people is not new. In fact, it is as old as the Republic itself. It is part of the American philosophy of government of the people, by the people, for the people. The importance of agriculture to the American nation and the need for promoting it were recognized by George Washington, himself one of the more progressive farmers of his day. If we could have been present in 1798 when President Washington delivered his message to Congress, we would have heard him say, wait, I'm supposed to do a British accent now? What? Excerpt from 25. I'm not going to get a British accent out of my voice right now. Excerpt from 25 years of extension work under the blah, blah, blah. It will not be doubted that, with reference to individual or national welfare, agriculture is of primary importance. In portion as nations advance in population and other circumstances of maturity. This truth becomes more apparent and I'm lost. Anyway, no. I didn't know it was going to be like a full-on radio program uh, that I needed to be doing accents for. Um, also, I mean, I was going to say, why does Washington have a British accent? But anyway. Uh, this truth becomes more apparent and renders the cultivation of the soil more and more an object of public patronage. Institutions for promoting it grow up, supported by the public purse, and to what object can it be dedicated with greater propriety? Among the means which you have employed to this end, none have been attended with greater success than the establishment of boards, composed of proper characters, charged with collecting and diffusing information, and enabled by premiums and small pecuniary aids to encourage and assist a spirit of discovery and improvement. This species of establishment contributed doubly to the increase of improvement by stimulating to enterprise and experiment, and by drawing to a common center the results everywhere of individual skill and observation, and spreading them hence over the whole nation. Experience, accordingly, has shown that they are very cheap instruments of immense national benefits. From Washington's address to Congress in 1798, apparently. Ooh, we get chords swelling to a finale. The immediate result of the remarks of the first president was an appropriation by Congress which made possible an agricultural fair. Fairs were not new in America. English settlers had brought to these shores their memories of English country fairs, and fairs for and by American farmers were held long before there was such a thing as an American nation. Washington's vision carried beyond the agricultural fair as an educational institution. His ideas found expression in the formation of agricultural societies for the exchange of farming experiences and the extension of information. In many of the older states, such as Massachusetts, New York, Ohio, Maryland, records are found showing early interest in having scientists and practical farmers sent over the states to deliver lectures on agriculture. This interest grew into an institution which spread into many states and which later received some federal support, the Farmers Institute. As leaders in agriculture were making progress in furthering assistance to farmers in the 1860s, another memorable event occurred. The year is 1862. The place, Washington, D.C. A fellow senator is offering congratulations to Senator Justin B. Morrill of Vermont. Congratulations, Senator. I understand President Lincoln has just signed your bill. Thank you, Senator. Yes, the bill is signed and is now a law. I can think of no better way to use these vast areas of public lands in the West than to let the states sell them and use the money to establish colleges. Colleges for teaching agriculture and the mechanic arts. This war we are in can't last forever, and when it ends, America will grow. She will need trained men, men who can work with the land and with tools. These land grant colleges will help to provide them. I'm just going to drop this. I know we read it at the beginning of stream, but, just the Land Grant Act was not all peaches and cream. And so came the land grant colleges, to be founded one by one in every state of the Union. It was natural that the state colleges of agriculture, the land grant colleges, should join forces with the organization farmers had set up for their own betterment. In the latter part of the 19th century and in the early part of the present century, the winter season found outstanding farmers and scientists from the colleges traveling together over the various states, lecturing on the programs of farmers' institutes. It was before the days of the automobile, but many farm families traveled many miles to attend these institutes. And then apparently they play Put On Your Old Gray Bonnet and fade out. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is lengthy, but and yeah, I didn't know I was going to be doing characters and voices. Anyway, it is yes fun to do the old timey Mid Atlantic radio voice occasionally. But we are well past time. It is 5 o'clock here, and the stream is currently supposed to end at 4:30. So I do have to like wind us down and find somewhere to raid. This was the second to last, the penultimate episode for 2024. The last episode of Archival Adventures will be next Wednesday, starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or the last episode for 2024. It's not the end of the show, just the last one for the year, because campus closes after that, and I won't be able to physically be here in the space, and technically not allowed to work, so won't be doing the show. But plus, if I was doing the show, it would be on Christmas and on New Year's. Yeah. Anyway, next week is the final one for the year. I will be joined by archivist Kira as a co-host, and we'll be looking at early American cookbooks. So that should be fun. It continues the trend, the pattern, I don't know. Kira has been on the final episode every December since I started doing the show. So it'll be fun to have her here, aka fun with Aspic. Oh gosh, yeah. And then we will return. Don't call it a comeback. It's a return. We'll return in 2025 on January 8th. And I don't know what we're looking at yet, because that will be the first episode where my student assistant Jules will be picking the topic. And I don't know what it is yet. So we'll have fun looking at, whatever happens to come off the shelves. Let me see who's on and where we're going to raid. So that I can pack up my things and head home. Let's see. Stephen Joyce is on, playing more Katamari, which is ridiculous game. Paleontologizing is on, assembling a 3D printed crocodilian skull. That sounds fun. Yeah. I think we're gonna pop over to paleontologizing today for some wonderful continuation of science and technology educational content. why not? Um, so I'll set up that raid. Sadly, don't think I can do both channels because we've run into that before. So the library channel, I will find somewhere for you to go. You may end up at Steven's stream. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Let me set up the raid. And get that going. I will still be doing gaming streams into January. It's just the archive stream that will be on hiatus for a couple of weeks while campus is closed for winter break. So January 8th, we'll be back with something more, but one more next Wednesday, right here with me and Kira and old cookbooks. So I hope I'll see all of you soon. Hope I will see you then. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Until I see you next, keep exploring history, everybody.